Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United transfer news and Man United Crystal Palace preview. Get in the comments, get involved in the live. Manchester United could still be buying Tell. We had the update on Rashford a couple of hours ago. It felt like Tell might be going to Spurs. Daniel Levy has flown over there to have personal talks with him, but apparently, according to Fabrizio, he has rejected them. Greta Thunberg's going mad. Daniel Levy's flown to Munich for nothing. And Spurs are being rejected like trophies. It ain't looking good, Brev. But we don't need to worry about Spurs. It keeps the door still open to Manchester United. And interestingly, Pletty-Goal, who seems to have led on this story from the off, he is saying that Matis Tell is actually more motivated by a loan. Manchester United, Aston Villa and Chelsea are still in the race for him. So does that add a little bit of a twist in relation to Marcus Rashford? Because if Aston Villa want Marcus Rashford on loan, but they get Tell on loan, we don't get Tell and we get stuck with Rashford. So is that making you think, like I'm thinking, a little bit more like, well, Villa, you can have Rashford, let's stay out of the Tell race, leave it between us and Chelsea. Certainly, I don't want to get stuck with Rashford for another few months and Villa get Tell. So we have to be careful around that one because I still think Watkins could leave Villa as well. But that's just a hunch. But look, Manchester United is what we're here to talk about. The preference of a loan deal for Tell, I understand it. Spurs are there going sign for Spurs, sign for Spurs. You sign for Spurs, you sign on a 5-year deal. Spurs do what Spurs do, and you're sort of there after 6 months going, oh my God, I'm the new Son, I'm the new Harry Kane, I'm the guy that's too good for this team that doesn't win anything. So I think what Tell is doing is quite interesting. You don't normally get this, but I think it's quite an interesting thing to do. And obviously, he wants to leave Bayern Munich because he's not getting the game opportunities. He strikes me, and I don't know, and you need to do your homework on these players, of course, but he strikes me as an ambitious personality, and we need those types of players at Manchester United. And if he's looking at Bayern and saying, I'm not getting the pathway I want, and then he's looking at in January and going, no, I'm not going to sign the big money deal with Spurs. I want to go on a loan and so I can assess my options. And if I get it wrong, I can assess my options again in the summer. I think that's a very intelligent approach from a 19-year-old who obviously has got good people around him. So I can't fault it. I think it's a good idea to go, look, I'm not going to sign for anybody in January. I want to go on loan somewhere. I want to try what the Premier League's like. I want to have a look at my options in the summer. Try before you buy. It's quite a mature approach, and you don't normally get that from a player who just wants the signing on fee and the wages. So I respect that. I think he's a prat if he doesn't sign for Man United and goes to Chelsea, but that could be a possibility because I'm sort of looking at Chelsea at the moment and I'm going, hopefully that Garnacho thing's not going to happen, and they're looking to move Nkunku out, aren't they? So I'm just sort of thinking, as one door closes on Spurs, we're sort of like moving down that corridor. Remember that little meme of the corridor with the with death and going down it, closing all the doors? I think Spurs are gone. If we can get Chelsea out the way, it's looking good. But this is going to develop, isn't it? And he is obviously somebody that's going to take his time. But I think we'd all like Tell at Manchester United. I don't agree with people who are spouting about confidence and this, that and the other, because Man United don't speak to aggregators about transfers. They don't. They just don't do it. So I'd be very careful about that sort of stuff. But look, Man United are in talks. Watch out for Ornstein and Romano. Let's just see. Pletty-Goal as well. As for Rashford, I think even David Ornstein is talking now about talks with Aston Villa as well. So I think that it's very interesting. Fabrice Hawkin is saying that Man United and Villa are in the race to sign Tell. Arsenal and Chelsea are also on the lookout as well. Very, very interesting around that one. And Aston Villa are considering a move for Marcus Rashford. Is breaking a lot as well. So I think that all in all, it's going to be interesting in the next few days. I would pose the question to the chat. Would you take Tell, but Villa get Rashford? Yes or no? You don't have to put yes or no if you're not watching live. You can get it in the comments, but yes or no, and why? Why wouldn't you do that? Why would you do that? For me, I'll answer my own question. Tell comes to us. Rashford goes on loan to Aston Villa. Do it. I don't like it, but do it. I don't like Rashford going to a Premier League club, but do it. He gets to play in the Premier League. There's nowhere to hide. If he does well, his value goes up. And Tell is a player that I think we should be looking to bring into Manchester United. So I say, hear ye, do the deal. Hello, dollies, do your dealing. as Bruce Forsyth used to say. Anyway, Manchester United against Crystal Palace. I digress slightly because there is news, and there may be news while I'm talking to you now that we need to talk about. But let's talk about Manchester United against Crystal Palace in the Premier League. It's 12th against 13th. If they beat us, they'd knock us down to 13th. Maybe even lower if West Ham win at Chelsea, but they don't play till Monday night. So we can't go any lower unless we lose to Palace. Palace have got 27 points, we've got 29 points. It's 12th against 13th. Palace actually recently have been doing quite well. Out of their last 6 games, their first loss was actually Brentford last week, which was a bit of a surprise because Brentford are crap away from home and Crystal Palace were unbeaten in 5 with 3 wins and 2 draws. But they lost last week. Eze apparently is out. We have won our last 3 games, albeit in different scenarios, 2 Europa League games and 1 Premier League game. And I sort of look at it and I go, well, you know what? Maybe there is a way for Manchester United. I can't even remember. Who did we beat last weekend? I'm having a brain blank here. Who did we beat last weekend? I can't even remember. Fulham, yeah. Fulham. Rangers. I'll tell you what, I think I need some sleep. Getting very forgetful. Yeah, but 3 wins in a row and no goals and 1 goal conceded against Rangers. But the opposition, FCSB, Rangers, and Fulham. Okay, I mean that to me is what I look at because it's obviously Crystal Palace. And I look at it and I think, you know what, Manchester United, we should be winning this game. I think the big thing I would say is that. For the first time, I feel like first time in a long time, you've been looking at that longer than me, although I picked it. This is what I wanted to say, stuttering a little bit. That team there, for the first time, has a huge issue. Mazraoui's not in it. Now, I've put Mazraoui out, but if you put Mazraoui in, you take somebody else out. This is good. This is what I talk about. This is what I want. I don't, you know when you buy a player, like if Man United bought, I don't know, Inacho from Sporting, people would be like, what's going to happen to Martinez? What's going to happen to Maguire? And I'm like, well, nothing maybe. Maybe he'll be on the bench. Maybe they'll be on the bench. But what we do know is rotation, 90 minutes is intense. I want competition for places. And I think for the first time under Amorim, we have got an issue here because Mazraoui's not in that predicted lineup. And if you put Mazraoui in instead of Ahmad, is Ahmad out of the lineup? Or if you put Ahmad where Mainu is Mainu out of the lineup? Or you put Ahmad where Garnacho is Garnacho out of the lineup? And I think there is no reason to drop Mainu, Garnacho, Mazraoui, Ahmad. There's no reason to put them on the bench. And look, rotation happens. We played on Thursday. It's not really dropping anyway. But it is a big choice. If all those players are fit and that's the lineup, you're putting people like Mazraoui on the bench. And I think this is a good problem to have. Do I think he'll pick this team? The only reason I've not put Mazraoui where Ahmad is because we're playing Crystal Palace at home. And Crystal Palace have got quite a good away record, actually. They're 9th in the league away from home. Their home form has been crap. They're like, I think they're 5th from bottom at home. They've only won 2 games at home all season. But away from home, they've won 4. And I think that's incredible. They've won double the amount of games away from home, which shows you that they are, the way that they're set up, they're quite handy. And how many I mean, I was at the Brentford game with Seb. We've watched all the watch-alongs together. Bournemouths, Nottingham Forests, Brightons. There's so many teams that aren't the traditional top 6 come to Old Trafford and express themselves. And Crystal Palace will be one of those teams that do it. They're well organised. They've only lost 3 away games all season out of 11. So very, very good. And our home record's not great. We've lost 6 at home. So we have won 5, but we've lost 6 at home, which is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. We've lost 4 away and 6 at home. We've lost 10 games in the Premier League. So our weakness is Old Trafford. We know that. The crowds gets frustrated. But I also feel that that's why I'm going to predict a 2-0 win. Because I think what we're starting to see is a gradual turn. You know when a big freight ship that's got all them freight containers on it and it's massive and it's ploughing through the sea, and then the captain has to turn around because he's left the kids or something like that, or his wife, I don't know. Oh shit, I've left her in the pub. So he's got to go back. He can't just whack it in reverse and turn around. There's so much on that carrier freight that he's got to turn it around. Someone's going to give the proper name for it. And it takes a long time for a boat to turn around like that. I think that's what's going on with United. The momentum of the last 10 years is just so big that it's always going to take, we're not just going to turn it around overnight. It could take 3, 4, 5 years. But I do sense that whilst there will be more storms ahead, 100%, and Crystal Palace could be one of those storms, I do sense we're starting to turn slightly. It's not vintage United, far off. It's not even good United, but it is getting slightly better. The defence has started to shut up the shop. We're starting to create slightly more chances, albeit FCSB ain't going to be the team that I'm going to judge that against. It'll be Crystal Palace at Old Trafford on Sunday. People like Xerxes are starting to do better. Agate is getting better. De Ligt is getting better. Those two were already in a good place. Maguire's come in, been solid. Martinez is becoming a massive part of the midfield, stepping out. Bruno is getting better and more consistent. Garnacho is now bouncing after that dropping. So I think we gradually are moving away from maybe a team where we a couple of weeks ago would have said, yeah, we'll definitely lose this game. There are a number of players starting to step up to the plate and they are starting to respond to Amorim. It will be slow and we could lose this game, but I'm going to go Man United 2-0. But Crystal Palace are a threat. Don't think because they lost to Brentford last week at home, they're better away from home. And before that, they were unbeaten in 5 with 3 wins and 2 draws. So they'll come and give it a go. And I think the interesting thing about Crystal Palace as well, and again, I mean, this might absolutely, you probably need to sit down for this because this is going to blow your mind. Crystal Palace have the best defence in the Premier League away from home. They've only conceded 11 goals away from home. Liverpool are second with 12. And Arsenal, a joint second. 11 goals conceded. Their defence. I mean, we look. I think you know what I think about the mainstream, etc. But I think that's pretty poor not to have exposed that. Why are we having to do that? They've only conceded 11 goals in the Premier League away from home. 11 goals in 11 games. Best defence away from home in the Premier League this season. Having said that, they've only scored 15, which is actually worse than Fulham. It isn't great. That would put them in the bottom half of that. So not many goals when Crystal Palace play. As for us at home, yeah, we do concede a lot of goals, 20 goals conceded. So we have nearly conceded double the amount of goals at home this season that Crystal Palace have conceded away. But enough with the stats. I think they come to Old Trafford. They will express themselves. They are well organised. I'm not too sure our results against Crystal Palace have been that great over the years at Old Trafford. Someone in the chat let us know what the last 5 are. I certainly remember the Casemiro sending off, but I don't think we won that game. I think it was a draw, wasn't it? So, yeah. But I think we will win it because I think we are starting to step into the right direction. And looking ahead, I think that's a really important thing because we've got Palace on Sunday. And look, let me just say, I'm sure I can get it up on the screen for you as well. I'm looking at, let's put that there. Don't forget to get your tickets. Get your tickets for the live show. Links in the description. Scan the QR code. Lots of them going. I showed the picture of the actual arena today. It's not going to really matter where you sat because it's on 3 tiers, really steep looking down. The atmosphere is going to be great. I'll be saying get your phones out. It'll be brilliant. But this is what I really wanted to show you. Let's have a look at the table. So Manchester United in the table at the moment, we've got 29 points. Even if we win, we're very unlikely to get into the top 10. 29 points, 32. We still wouldn't go above Fulham even if Fulham lose. So that's the enormity of what we face in the league. I said this after the Europa League game last night, didn't I? The Europa League is the priority for Manchester United. And there's no doubt about that. But the Premier League can be really useful because it's like, I just see it as experience, proper experience in proper competitive games that we need to take seriously so we can get better as a team. Some of you described it quite rightly as a competitive pre-season because that's effectively what it is. This is not going to be the team that Amorim wins a title with Man United. He needs a lot more players to come in. So what this is using what he's got and growing together. And I think that's really important. And when you look at our next few games, Crystal Palace at home in the league, Leicester at home in the FA Cup, Tottenham away in the league, Everton away in the league, and then Ipswich at home in the league. I'd look at that and I'd say, well, 3 of those games we definitely should be winning. Ipswich at home, Crystal Palace at home, and the Leicester game in the Cup. Tottenham and Everton away, interesting. Goodison Park for the last time at 12:30 on Saturday the 22nd of Feb. I mean, why not? Tottenham away becomes a test, because I tell you what, they want to win the Europa League as well, so you want to send a message of, look, we can beat you. So I think it's going to be a very interesting month, and we've certainly come through a very hectic January and a very difficult December. So looking forward, it's a good month for us to really progress. I mean, you wouldn't want to come out of those 5 games with 3 losses against the likes of Palace, Leicester, Spurs, Everton and Ipswich. So, yeah, I'm going for a win. But I would like, you know what I would like? A standard 2-0 win where we defend well, we play quite well, and it's quite a machinist type of performance, robotic, whatever you want to call it. Not boring, but just sort of like standard, good win, happy days, get the Sunday dinner on, lovely stuff. I do not want to see us taking a step back, misplacing passes, not picking up midfield runners, not creating any chances. And I think that's the thing I would say on Sunday. Even if we drew, but it was a good game, the results, I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I don't think people understood it when we beat Fulham. I wanted a performance. The result was good, but we need to start seeing performances. And I think against Fulham, we didn't see a performance, but we got the result. I think we need to now start seeing performances, because, as I say, Solskjaer, Jose, Moyes, Rangnick, maybe not Moyes, Van Gaal, Rangnick, maybe not Rangnick, Ten Hag, they were capable of getting results, winning trophies even, but it was never a consistent performance. In fact, very rarely was there an identity. Whereas with Amorim, I think we all know we can't have another 3 years of a manager that on his day can beat teams and maybe scraps out a Europa League or a FA Cup. Sustainability is performance. So actually, the Premier League's done for us. We're not going to get anywhere near the top 6. It's just not going to happen. So if we want Europe, it has to be the Europa League, because we've got absolutely no chance. So realistically, the Premier League can't be thrown away. It has a massive value, and the value is performance. Can we start stringing together some good performances? Because the results will come with that anyway. But yeah, look, 5th place, 41 points. 6th and 7th, 40 points. That's 11 points. We're 11 points off 7th place. No chance. Not in a league like this. You've got absolutely no chance. We would have to literally win every single game. We're not going to do that with this squad. So I think that the Premier League really is an opportunity to build performance, and that's the priority, and that's sort of like what I'm looking for, to be honest with you. Anyway, make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Don't forget the live show. Tickets are going fast, but it is a big venue, so you'll still be able to get good seats, and it's going to be a great show. I have been promised a live performance from a Man United fan who is Irish and is very, very big. So hopefully he is going to be there and answering a bit about Man United as well. So just one of the many things we've got planned on the evening, but can't wait for it to be doing it in the Olympia Theatre, which I used to walk past to work for 3 years. Is going to be quite humbling, if that's possible with someone like myself. Oh, I am humble, but you can't say you're humble, apparently. Anyway, tickets are in the video description. Get your comments in. What are your thoughts on the lineup I had? Let me just show you that again. That would not have Mazraoui in it. So how would you do it? For the first time ever, if everyone's fit, somebody's going to be on the bench that probably deserves to start, and that's a sign of a good thing. Would you loan Rashford to Villa if it meant we were going to get Tell? And yeah, get your comments in on everything else we've discussed as well. Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for watching.